Okay, next we will move for introduction to CSS. What I discussed in the previous classes, CSS is represented as cascading style sheets. Okay, I will give you one example before going to this CSS. Paragraph can be represented by using a P. That's a P tag, right? We represented or we displayed a paragraph on the browser. By default, black color will be seen. If I want to make the change of that paragraph as a red, then it is you supposed to use this properties, visible properties on that. So any elements like a paragraph, headings, and something like a divisions, so many HTML elements we learn. On those, if you want to apply the visibility properties or say good look for those all, we go with the CSS, cascading style sheets. In current web development, best practices HTML should not describe the formatting or presentation document. Whatever the HTML pages you are writing, it should display the main content, not the formatting or a presentation. Instead, that presentation task is best performed by using a CSS. The presentation tag, good visibility property, good look property, that can be represented by the cascading style sheets. CSS is a W3C standard for describing the appearance of a HTML elements. Appearance of HTML elements, how it should look like, clear, that are all the things. Another common way of describing HTML function, CSS function is to say that CSS is used to define the presentation of HTML elements. Either you can say it as a good appearance of HTML or the good presentation of HTML documents. That is the main reason. These are the keywords you have to write when you are writing for the CSS. That's the appearance of HTML, and the presentation of HTML can be done by using the CSS. With CSS, we can assign a font property, color, size, border, background, images, and even position elements on the pages. Okay, then this is over. How can we use that CSS is explained here. CSS can be added directly to any HTML element. You can directly add it on a HTML element or within the head portion, or most common in a separate text file that contains only the CSS. This is the last paragraph explains you how we can use the CSS. How we can use the CSS? You can add a CSS directly to the HTML elements within a head portion or separate file can be used for this CSS. Clear? Okay, now it's a benefit of CSS. What are the benefits of a CSS? Why we have to use the CSS here? First one, improved control over the formatting. The degree of formatting control in a CSS is significantly better than that provided in a HTML. CSS gives web authors fine-grained control over the appearance of their web content, right? If you use a CSS for formatting the HTML, it's a best formatting because you are separating the HTML with the CSS. Means you are separating the main content with a visible property. Then formatting obviously will be easier here. Improved site maintainability. Websites become significantly more maintainable because all formatting can be centralized into one CSS file or a small handful of them. This allows you to make a site-wide visual modification by changing a single file. How can we improve the site maintainability? Whatever the CSS property, we will keep in a single file. If you want to do any changes, just you can do this a single file change. Instead of doing all the things within the HTML, just you can change the single file. It will affect to all the content, or it will affect to all the HTML elements. That is a maintainability. Improved accessibility. Accessing is very easy when you use a CSS. CSS driven sites are more accessible by keeping a presentation out of the HTML. You are taking a presentation out of the HTML. Screen readers and other accessibility tools work better, thereby providing a significantly enriched experience of those reliant on an accessible tool, right? In the sense, you are separating the presentation with the main content. Then when any screen readers are there, just you give the main content instead of presentation. They will go with the main content instead of this presentation. But if you are mixing both the presentation with the content, then it is very difficult for the accessing purposes. Improved page download speed. A site built using a centralized set of CSS files for all the presentation will also be quicker to download, because each individual HTML file will contain less style information and markup, and thus be a smaller. Because you are taken out of a presentation, and downloading of these HTML files will be a speed. Improved output flexibility. CSS can be used to adapt a page for a different output media. Different output media represent whenever you are looking in a website, you are looking through the computer or you are looking through the mobile phones or a tab, right? Different output you are using there. So if you are using CSS, that will be a better. This approach to CSS page design is often referred to as a responsive design. What do you mean by responsive design? You developed one website that should be seen within a different type of outputs, like a mobile screen, or like in a tab screen, or like in a desktop computer screen, or in a laptop screen, right? That should be seen in a different window size. A site that responds to the different browsers and window size. Clear here? Improved output flexibility because of responsive design can be done by using a CSS. This is the benefit of CSS. Next is a CSS versions. In the sense that there are so many variations of the versions available for the CSS. We will go with some theory part is there. Style sheets as a way to visually formatting markup predate the web in the earlier 1990s, which has evolved in the 1990s. A variety of different style sheets standards were proposed, including a JavaScript style sheets, which was proposed by Netscape in 1996, right? One more version, a starting version is a JavaScript style sheets in 1996 by Netscape. Netscape's proposal was one that requires the use of a JavaScript programming to perform the style sheets. You need a JavaScript programming. Thankful for non-programmers everywhere, the W3C decided to adopt a CSS, and by the end of 1996, they are decided to develop a CSS 1 level 1 in the 1996 without because if you are using a CSS, you need to know the JavaScript in the earlier days, but W3C has decided without using this JavaScript, they developed a CSS level 1 in the 1996. You can do the CSS without the knowledge of JavaScript here. Purely for the CSS. CSS level 1 recommendation was published. A year later, CSS 2 level recommendation. First JavaScript, later on JavaScript style sheets, later on CSS level 1 and CSS level 2 here. Every though work began over a decade ago, an updation version of a level 2 recommendation, that is a CSS 2.1, that's a one version, did not become an official W3 recommendation until 2011, right? This is one more version. Different group at the W3C was working on a CSS3 draft to make CSS3 more manageable for both the browser manufacturer and web designers. The W3C has subdivided it into a variety of different CSS3 modules. That's the modules they given here, right? CSS selector, CSS namespace, CSS media queries, and CSS colors. They are the different modules. And browser adaptation, right? If you are developing any CSS or says any web pages, that should be adapt to the different types of browsers, right? We know different browsers are available. So Google Chrome, Mozilla, Microsoft, that's Internet Explorer. So many browsers are there. Whatever the CSS you are developed, that should be adapt to that browsers, different types of browsers. Perhaps the most important things to keep in mind with the CSS is that different browsers have not always kept up to the W3C. Means this gives you whatever the CSS that the W3 have given the specification, all the browsers are not accommodated or not adaptation to that. While the Microsoft Internet Explorer was an early champion of CSS, its later version, that's IE5, IE6 and IE7 for the Windows has uneven support for certain parts of CSS2. Means Internet Explorer have adopted some most portion of the CSS what is recommended by the W3C. However, all browsers have not implemented parts of the CSS2 recommendation. That's the main thing. For this reason, CSS has a reputation for being a somewhat frustrating language. Because frustrating language, one property is adopted or say adaptation to the one browser and that property will not be adapted to the other browser. Like that, we give some conclusion as a somewhat frustrating language of this CSS. That's the CSS syntax we will learn in the next class.